Welcome back, Tigers. This is part 5 of the MailChimp to Salesforce Integration 9-part series. The entire series will show you how to solve the common business problems I'm sure you're running into. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on how to use MailChimp tags and segments. If you are currently exporting lists from Salesforce and then importing them into MailChimp every time you want to send an email to a specific list of people, this video will show you how to streamline that process using 3 different options. First, we will cover how to use MailChimp queries to sync your custom fields from Salesforce to MailChimp. Next, we will review how to leverage Salesforce formula fields to get around segmentation limits in MailChimp. Then lastly, we will show you how to use Salesforce campaigns and reporting to automatically tag contacts in MailChimp. Now let's hop over to MailChimp and show you how to configure the solutions for all of these scenarios. So here we are in MailChimp, and first let's review the difference between a field, a tag, and a segment, and why you would use each one. So we'll go to our contacts and we'll click on our first contact here, Tiger Jones, and we're going to look at the profile information section. This is where all of the fields are captured on the contact. Now there is a 30 field limit in MailChimp on how many custom fields you can have in this profile information section. There's an 80 field limit if you have a higher edition. So we really don't want to go crazy creating a whole bunch of custom fields in MailChimp since there are limitations. So we recommend that you create custom fields for data points that you will likely use forever. Any data that you store in a field in this profile information section can be exposed to the contact via a form, allowing the contact to update their information for you. So if you want to do a process like that at a later point in time, you'll definitely want to store the data in a field on the profile information on the contact. If you need the specific data for field merges in your email templates, this is also another good reason to store the data in fields in MailChimp. Some fields you may want to create are maybe the company, department, industry, or role. So now let's take a look at tags in MailChimp. So we'll click on tags from the menu. You can see we only have one tag in our MailChimp called biotechnology. Now MailChimp tags allow you to label contacts based on information that you know about them. So the contact is not going to be able to provide you with this information via a form. You will not be able to use this as a field merge. So this is just a way for you to label these people. There is no limit to the number of tags that you can have in MailChimp. It's unlimited. There's also no limit to the number of tags that a single contact can have associated with them. So tags are very useful for tracking specific initiatives that may not be around for a long time. They can be created for very specific purposes, like a dinner invitation or a target for a specific product, a list that you uploaded from a specific trade show. So tagging contacts is going to make it really easy for you to find specific people again. So if you have a list that you've imported, you'll want to tag those in a specific way so that if you ever need to reference those lists of people again, you'll be able to do that really easily via the tag. So to create a tag directly from MailChimp, you just click Create Tag, and let's say this is a Dreamforce dinner invite. You click Create, and now we have our tag here. Later on in this video, we will see how we can add tags to contacts via a MailChimp member query from Salesforce. All right, so next we're going to take a look at segments. Now, segments are used when you want to filter for specific people based on fields or tags. So if we go over here to create a segment, and we'll just call this test segment, and we'll click add a filter, we can see that we have a variety of things that we can choose from to filter. So we have tags. So I can say I want all the people who are tagged with the Dreamforce invite. I can add another filter that says maybe I want all the newsletter subscribers. And I can add another filter and I can look at their engagement with email. I can look at whether or not they received a specific email. So you have lots of other options here to filter. Now, one thing to keep in mind within a segment is you have a limitation of only having 5 of these filters. So if you have a super complex query, you will not be able to use a segment. Okay, so now that we understand the differences between fields, tags, and segments, let's look at how we can use MailChimp queries to sync the data from Salesforce to MailChimp and add tags to our contacts. So we'll hop over to Salesforce here, and then we'll go to the MC Setup tab, and we'll go to Member Queries. And we can see here that we have one query that we already set up from part 1, the video, MailChimp to integration video part 1. And this was for our newsletter subscribers. So if we take a look at this, we can see that this is just looking for newsletter subscriber equal to true. Now let's say that we wanted to add a new field to MailChimp called department. So first we're going to come to map fields, and then we need to create a new field. It's going to be a text field called department. So we have a department pick list that we have added to our leads and contacts that tells us whether or not the person is in legal or HR, sales, or marketing. So that's a pretty typical thing to need to know when you're looking to target specific people for email communications. So we have added this new field. So this should be over in MailChimp now. And now I need to just map it to my lead department and my contact department. Okay, so we should be all set there. So now I'm going to go back to my MC Setup tab, and I'm going to sync my audience. Okay, so I see the sync has started. And so I'll go over to MailChimp, and I will go to all contacts. And then I'm just going to add department as a column here. So we can see that the department field was created. And we'll click save. And now I can see my department column here, and Tiger Jones has a department of marketing. So let's hop over to here and let's look at Tiger Jones and just make sure Tiger is in marketing. So yep, all set. Okay, so department synced over properly. And then now you'd be able to use that field in your segments. You would be able to filter for department equal to marketing. Now let's say that we want to sync all contacts who are customers to MailChimp. So we don't only want the newsletter subscribers over there, we also want all of our customers, regardless if they're a newsletter subscriber or not. So let's go back to Salesforce, and we have a field on our account record that's called status. So we'll just open up Blue Ninjas here. And you see we have a status equal to customer. So this is a drop down, and this tells us whether or not they are a prospect, a previous customer, or customer. So I'm going to come back to my MC Setup tab, and I first need to add the account status as a field, because that's going to be a really helpful field for me to have over in MailChimp. So I will click Map Fields. I will come down here and I will add a new text field, and I'll call that account status. We'll click Add Field. Then I'm going to map it to a field on the contact. But if we come to the list of fields on the contact, we can see we only get the fields that are right on the contact. We don't get any of the fields on the account. So what we need to do here is we will create a custom formula field on the contact that will bring over the value of the account status onto the contact. So I'll go to my object manager, I'll go to contact, fields and relationships, and we'll create a new formula field. This will be account status. It's going to be a text. And then this is just going to be the text value of the account status. Then we'll do some help text. This field is used in the MailChimp member query sync and field mapping. Okay, we'll add that to the page layout just in case we need to check it. Okay, so now we'll come back here and we're going to refresh the screen. And now we should be able to map our account status to our account status. And there we go. Okay, perfect. Next, we need to create the query that is going to sync over all these people who are customers. So I'll go to member queries and I'll create a new query. And I'm not going to add a tag to this query. You could if you wanted to, but we're not going to. And I'm going to say account status equals customer. So this is going to find all of the people that fit this criteria. So we have one contact, Blair Collins at Dan Steele Engineering, who is going to be a new subscriber that will sync over to MailChimp. I will call this contact customer sync. And then I want this to run daily. I want this to run every day because as new customers are added to Salesforce, I want them to automatically sync over to MailChimp and then have their account status field updated. So I'm going to go ahead and run this query. And then I expect to see Blair over in MailChimp and then Blair to have a status of customer. So let's come over here and refresh this screen. And then we see Blair has been added. And then if we wanted to add our account status as a column, we could. And we can see that Blair is a customer. Now, if you wanted to create a segment that has all of your customers in it, you could do create segment. You could say customers. You add a filter and it's going to be account status is customer. Do review segment. Should see one come in. That's perfect. And that's it. We've just created a new customer segment based on data in Salesforce. Now let's say that you wanted to tag all of the contacts that are not customers, but they have an open opportunity related to the contact's account and the contact's department is sales. So maybe you want to sync these people to a nurturing campaign. And once the op is closed won or closed lost, you don't want them to receive any of the emails in the nurturing campaign. So this type of scenario is going to require us to do a formula field on the contact. So first what we need to do is we need to create a field on the account called number of open ops. So we'll go to Object Manager, we'll go to the account, we'll go to fields and relationships, and we're just going to create a number field here. We'll call it number of open ops. And then our help text is going to say this field is updated by DLRS and counts the number of open ops related to the account record. So if you do not know what DLRS stands for, you need to check out our video on declarative lookup rollup summaries. So this is one of the coolest packages, free packages. It's open source. It's been around a long time. It's one of the best packages out there for Salesforce. It will give you so much functionality, make you the hero in so many ways. You will be able to find so many use cases for it. It's just going to blow your mind. So definitely take a minute to go over there to that video. I'll put a link to it in the description, and take some time to set that up because I know you will use it again and again and again. All right, so now we're going to configure our lookup rollup. So we'll go over to declarative lookup rollup summaries, and we'll go to manage lookup rollup summaries, and we're going to create a new one. And we're going to call this account number open ops. And you have to type in the API name because it does not automatically populate for you. And then our parent object is going to be account. Our child object is going to be opportunity. The relationship field is account ID. The relationship criteria. So we want this to be is closed equals false. So this is saying that we want to count all of the opportunities related to an account that are currently open. So the field to aggregate is ID, because we're just going to have it count the number of IDs that it finds. And then we're going to have it put the total value of the number of open ops it finds into the new field that we just created, number of open ops. Okay, so we're going to set this to real time and system. I will click save. I can't click active yet because I have to deploy this trigger since this is the first time that I am doing a DLRS roll up on the account object. So you have to click manage child trigger and deploy the trigger. And then you'll see a message up top here. It'll say deploying, and then it'll let you know when it's done. When it's done, you will hit cancel, and that will take you back to the previous screen. And now we can check the active checkbox, and this is going to run real time. To make it run and do a calculation on all the existing records, you just click full calculate and then run full calculate job, and then it's going to go out into your entire org, and it's going to update the number of open ops on all the account records that exist within your Salesforce database. Okay, so I do have a contact in here that is related to an account that has an open opportunity. So Walker and Sons currently has an opportunity that is open. It's in the stage needs analysis, and I can see here that my number of open ops is equal to 1. So my rollup is currently working. Now our next step is to create a formula field on the contact that's looking at all the criteria that we're looking for. So department, number of open ops has to be greater than 0. They can't be a customer. So let's go ahead and create that formula field on the contact and see what that looks like. So I'll come down to my contact, go to fields, create a new field. This is going to be a formula. Click next. And I'm going to call this MailChimp tag contacts open ops sales. So it's a long field name, but it tells you exactly what it's doing. And then here's my help text down here. I'll put that in the next screen. So this is going to be a checkbox field. And then my help text is, this field is used to automatically tag contacts in MailChimp with the tag equal to sales contact with open op. So that's the name of the tag that we're going to create in MailChimp, sales contact with open op. So this formula is going to look for contacts where the department equals sales, account status equals customer, and the number of ops is greater than 0 and the email is blank. So we're going to go ahead and use the AND function, and then we're going to look for our department field to have a value of sales. Then our second criteria is we want the number of open ops on the account to be greater than 0. Our next criteria is we want no customers. So we need to do account and status. And we're going to say that not is pickval customer. So we want all of the values in the account status except for customer. And then our contact needs to have an email address. So our email is not blank. Okay, so that's all the criteria that we're going to look for here. Just going to check the syntax to make sure that there's no mistakes, and there is. I'm missing a parentheses. All right, let's check that one more time. All right, we are good to go here. Okay, hit next. And next. And I'll drop this on the page because we're doing some testing, so we need to make sure that that checkbox is checked on Alex's contact record. Okay, so we've created that formula field. Now let's go over to Alex. He should fit all the criteria. So department is sales. The customer, the account status is not a customer, so we can see that here. We can see our MailChimp tag custom formula field that we just created has the checkbox checked, so we are good. If you want to further test it, you can change the department of Alex from sales to something else. And then we can see that that checkbox should not be checked anymore. Okay. All right. So we'll just flip this back. So next, what we're going to do is we need to create a query that is going to add our tag to our contacts. So we'll go to MC Setup, and we will go to Member Queries, and I will click New Query, and this is going to be creating a new tag. So we said that this tag is going to be called Sales Contact with OpenOp. I will add that, and that box is checked. Click Next. And then these are going to be contacts. And then I'm going to go to my formula field, MailChimp tag contacts with open ops and sales. And so I'm looking for this field to be true. I will click next, and I should see Alex come up here, which I do. I'll click next again. And then if you're going to continually use this, which you probably will, you should name it appropriately. So we'll say contacts. This is going to be open ops in sales department. And then we'll run this daily. We'll click save and run. And then this should run and push Alex over to MailChimp. So let's go to our contacts here and confirm that Alex has been pushed over. Yep. And we can see Alex has the tag sales contact with open op. All right, perfect. Okay, now the next step here is what happens when Alex doesn't have an open op anymore? So what we need to do is we need to create a journey that's going to remove this tag if Alex becomes related to a customer. So we will go to all journeys, and we're going to build a journey from scratch. And this is going to be sales contact with open op tag removal. So all the people who were prospects and became customers, we no longer want them to be tagged with this tag anymore. So whenever An audience field changes. So whenever the account status equals customer, then we want to untag the sales contact with OpenOps. So we're going to remove it. We'll click save. We will click continue. And then we'll click turn on. You can click view, and we can see here that our journey is all set to go. You can click this checkbox here if you want the contact to repeat the journey, which is possible if you have people become a customer, they're not a customer, and then they come back. So now we can test this by going to Salesforce and going to Alex's account, Walker & Sons, and we can change this to be a customer, and then we'll go to the MC setup and we will sync this audience. Now what this should do is it should update the account status on Alex's contact in MailChimp, which should then trigger him to come in this journey and have the tag removed. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our contacts. Let's exit out of here. Okay, let's refresh. So we can see that Alex is now a customer, and we should see this tag get dropped. So let's go back to our journey, and we can go to, we can see here one has started and one is in progress. And then I'll probably just take another minute for Alex to finish. Okay, so we can see that one tag has been removed. So let's go check out Alex and make sure that the tag was removed from his contact. And we can see that Alex has no tags. So all of that is working beautifully. Our next example will use Salesforce campaigns and reports to tag contacts and add the tag to MailChimp. So our scenario is going to be, we're going to have an executive dinner, and there's going to be a select group of people that will be invited to this dinner. It's going to be a combination of a couple of things. So the sales team is going to reach out to some people, and we're also going to automatically invite all of our customers who are a gold customer. So we have a level system within our customers of silver, gold, bronze. And so we're going to invite everybody who is gold to this. So first, what we're going to do is we'll create a campaign to house these people. So I'm going to go create a Salesforce campaign, not a MailChimp campaign. So we'll come here and we'll call this 2023. We'll say BTA for Blue Tiger Academy Executive Dinner. And then we'll put the date of the dinner. We'll make this active, and we're going to set the start and end dates as the date that the dinner is occurring. And we can just say that this is really an event, but we can leave it as a conference. We really need to add dinner to our type. Okay, so we've got our campaign all set up. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to update our campaign member statuses. So we just added our campaign member status related list to our page because it was missing. All right, so we've got it right here. Now I'm going to rename this one. So I'm going to rename sent to be invited. And I'm going to rename responded to be attended. And then I'm going to add one more status just to say confirmed. Okay, so we have our campaign all set up. Now I'm going to create a report that is going to filter for all of our gold customers. So I've actually got one right here. This is a contacts and accounts report, and it is filtering for everybody who has a status of customer and SLA of gold. So the SLA field is where we store our levels. So we can see that David Monaco is the only person who is a gold customer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add him to the campaign that we just created. So this would be a great way for you to add, hundreds, thousands, however many people you need to at once. You get them into a report, you click add to campaign, you choose which campaign it is, and then you choose the status that you want to add them with. And then you'll click submit, and then these people will be added. Now, I'm also going to add Alex. Alex was our top prospect. I'm also going to add Alex manually because I want to invite him to the campaign. So some of the salespeople may decide to add prospects to this dinner as well. So I'll add Alex with the status of invited. So now I have 2 people in the executive dinner campaign. So if I come back to this campaign, I can see I have 2 campaign members. Okay, so our next step is to go to the MC Setup tab, and we're going to go to Member Queries, and we're going to create a new query that is going to sync all of these campaign members in our campaign to have a tag called BTA Executive Dinner 08/31/2023. Click Add there, so that'll create the new tag in MailChimp for us. We'll click Next, and we're going to select campaign members, and we want the campaign members with this campaign name. And we will click Next. And then we see that we have both Alex and David in this campaign, which is correct. We will click Next, and you can run this query every day if you want to. So this is going to be the BTA Executive Dinner, because maybe your team, sales team, is continuing to add people up until the day of the dinner. That never happens. Okay, and we'll click Save and Run here. And then this should tag both Alex and David with that BTA Executive Dinner tag. So let's take a look at that. We'll refresh this. And we see both David and Alex have that tag. Beautiful. So now if we go to a campaign and we just clone this campaign, we can edit the recipients here, and we can see that we can now select from all these different segments and different tags that we've created. So we can select customers here, or we can select the BTA Executive Dinner. So we have all sorts of choices here. Now you also have the option to exclude people with certain segments or tags, which is pretty cool. So if you wanted to include one but exclude the other, you have that flexibility here. That's it. That's a wrap. We hope you gained some valuable insights into how to integrate MailChimp with Salesforce. Be sure to check out part 6, where we will show you how to create and sync campaign members to Salesforce campaigns, and then how to update their campaign member status to show how they are engaging with your emails. If you have any questions, or if you would like to see a tutorial on a different Salesforce topic, let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.